Do you want your artwork to look soft, realistic, and expressive without getting stiff or overly detailed? In this video, I'm going to show you how to combine soft pastels and pastel pencils to create an artwork that feels atmospheric, balanced, and full of life. You should always start simple. When you're creating a sketch, try to keep it as simple as possible and just add a few guidelines without overworking the sketch by adding too many details. I already prepared the sketch beforehand to save some time, but as you can see, I only marked the placement of the leaves in the background, the position of the ladybug, and a few key details on its body. A highly detailed sketch doesn't necessarily lead to a better final drawing. In fact, keeping it simple often gives you more freedom when working with pastels. The next step is to choose a limited color palette. Just like with the sketch, choosing too many colors can make the whole drawing process too overwhelming and actually lead to frustrations and a lot of lack in trust because it's going to be too much to choose for you as a beginner, and that's why keeping it simple to only a few colors is going to make the drawing feel a bit less scary. To avoid this, I only select the pencils and soft pastels that are actually needed for the artwork and keep the palette very limited. To do this, I open the reference image in Photoshop and create a whiter border around it. Then I pick colors directly from the image and place them onto this white border using a color picker tool from Photoshop. This method saves me a lot of time and prevents overthinking or getting overwhelmed by too many color choices, especially when trying to keep the palette consistent and accurate. After that, I take a piece of paper that is matching the same tone as the paper I'm going to use for my drawing and start picking the right colors by making small swatches. This lets me compare each pencil or pastel stick and see which ones best match the colors I just picked up in Photoshop. This step doesn't take long, but it's very efficient. In the end, it helps you gather only the colors you actually need, keeps your workspace from getting cluttered with unnecessary supplies, and makes it much easier to stay close to the reference image with accurate, well-matched colors. Now let's have a talk about the materials. The paper I'm going to use is like the one I'm using the whole time, the Clairefontaine Pastel Mat, which is specially designed for pastels, and it works really well. It has a velvety texture and can hold many layers of pigment. This is very important when working with pastels because this medium often relies on layering, and a surface like this that handles it very well is very helpful. The quality of the paper plays a big role in the final result and can make it much easier to achieve a more realistic and vibrant drawing in the end. For blending, soft tools work really well with the paper I mentioned above. These tools are very high quality as well, and they are made of a plastic handle and a replaceable sponge tip. The sponge helps push the pastel pigment very well into the paper's texture. They come in different shapes, and although they are a bit expensive, they are definitely worth all the money. If you can't afford that, a more budget-friendly alternative to a soft tool is a simple eyeshadow sponge. It doesn't cover large areas like the other tool, but it works really well for blending very small details. They are inexpensive and can be found almost everywhere. Since we all know it's not a good idea to use your fingers when blending pastels, because the natural oils can mix with the pigment and can reduce the vibrancy of the pastels, the safest option is to wear a glove while blending. I use a nitrile glove and it actually blends the pastel pigment very well, plus it keeps my fingers clean all the time. Now let's get into the demonstration. First, I'm starting with the top part of the background using soft pastels. To make pastel paintings look more natural and balanced, I like to keep the background soft and not overlay details so the main subject stands out better. I begin with bright green and muted green to create a mix of vibrant and natural looking colors. I also use a nitrile glove to protect the pastel surface from the oils on my fingers and to avoid smudging the pigment while working. Then I blend them together for smoother transitions and add a softer effect for the background. After that, I add lighter greens and even white for the lighter areas, and I gradually darken certain areas up with a black pencil to create even more contrast and depth. A soft background with good values and very good color harmony can really help a pastel painting look right. Now I'm working on the lower part of the background and also the leaf surface. I follow the direction of the leaf with my strokes because it helps to create natural movement and makes the painting feel more believable. I'm also leaving some visible texture instead of overblending everything and turning the area completely smooth. One common mistake with pastel paintings is overblending every area, which can make the artwork look flat and lifeless. Keeping a bit of texture and broken strokes helps the artwork feel more alive, natural, and adds a lot for the realism. Here, I'm starting on the head of the ladybug. I like to begin with the darker areas first because it helps me establish the structure and contrast early on, making the subject feel more solid and realistic. For smaller areas like this, pastel pencils are much easier to control than soft pastels. At this stage, I'm not focusing on tiny details yet. I am mainly blocking in the simple light and the shadow shapes. Realism comes more from getting the values and the contrast right, rather than trying to add every tiny detail that you see. It's time to tackle the neck area. Since this part is also very small, I'm keeping it simple and not overworking the details. Even in the bright white areas, I'm still adding subtle shadows so that area doesn't look flat and to add some visual interest in that area as well. In the darker neck area, I introduce a light purple highlight to bring in that soft pastel glow and to help the colors feel more alive. Using soft transitions so everything blends naturally, and this is a very good tip for getting pastel pencils to look right. In the end, I add a few white highlights on top of the purple area to create a gentle glossy effect, showing how small adjustments with pastel pencils can really improve your drawing. For the base layers of the body, I'm blocking in the main red colors. At this stage, I'm only focusing on the base layers and not the details yet. I'm applying the pastel lightly and building up the color gradually instead of pressing hard straight away. This is important because pastel drawings usually rely on layering, and keeping the paper texture visible for as long as possible helps everything blend and look more natural later on. The next step is to start adding darker reds and shadows to build more form and dimension to the body. Shadows are really important here because they help the ladybug look round instead of flat, so it gives that nice and round effect that this insect has. I'm also careful with the blending here because I want to do it only where it's needed, since, as I said before, overblending can remove the texture and that can make the drawing look too smooth, which is going to cause it looking lifeless. Then I start working on the only highlight on the shell, placing it only where the light hits the strongest, so where the highlight is going to be the most prominent. I use a soft pink base for this highlight because it blends really well with the red tones and it keeps the lighting feeling warm and natural rather than too harsh. On top of that, I add a touch of white just to boost the gloss and make it feel more reflective. Sticking to just one main highlight really helps the shell look cleaner, simpler, and more realistic instead of overworked and overblended. After the large highlight is done, I start building depth and improving the contrast in the drawing. First, I place the black dots to get a better overview of the values and the structure. Then, I layer a red pencil over the black parts of the drawing to create a softer, less intense shadow that still feels natural. To create the deepest shadow areas, I go back in with a pure black pencil only in the darkest spots to push the contrast further and increase the depth of the drawing. To balance everything, I also bring in a lighter red pastel pencil to add a bit of light back into the form and keep it from looking too heavy or too flat. Now I'm adding the legs using pastel pencils for more precision, because this area is so small, I couldn't fit the soft pastels in this area. For small details like this, a sharper pencil really helps control the lines much more easily. I'm not trying to make everything perfectly clean, just keeping the lines loose and natural so they feel more organic. Small imperfections are actually a good thing here because they make the drawing look more realistic and natural. As one of the final steps, I'm adding the shadow underneath the ladybug. This is an easy but really important step, especially for beginners, because it helps air coats stick the ladybug to the surface so it doesn't look like it's floating. It instantly adds depth without needing any complicated details. I'm keeping the edges soft and blending the shadow gently into the leaf so it looks more natural and also smoother. For the final touches, I'm adding a few small details and adjusting some values to balance the drawing overall. At this stage, I always try to step back and look at the artwork from a distance because it helps me notice if something feels too strong or distracting. At this point, I also try not to overwork the piece because leaving some areas softer and less detailed can make the drawing feel more natural and is going to boost the realism a lot. When you're working on your artwork, try not to overwork it. Just leave some areas unpolished and try to create a balance between the very detailed areas and soft areas to add even more realism to the drawing. In this case, some imperfections can really help your drawing. Broken lines, uneven textures, or even a very small area that it's overblended aren't mistakes. They are often some details that give your drawing more character and it's making it more expressive. If you want to learn more from me in Pastel, I have real-time tutorials with voiceover while I draw on my Patreon. I leave a link in the description of this video and also in the first comment. If you enjoyed the video and learned something from it, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. It takes a few seconds for you, but for me it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for watching and I'm going to see you in my next video as well.